Now, the question I get is, can I use my existing hoods? And the answer is yes. You can use your existing class 1 powder hoods. This is for non-sterile. This would be under table 2, non-sterile. Most powder hoods in the market will have a 2-inch or 3-inch or sometimes a 4-inch single HEPA filter. In that scenario, you've got to externally exhaust it out of the building per table 2. That means that you've got to call up the manufacturer and you've got to request that they send you their thimble or their canopy connection, which makes it negative at the makeup gap, and then a local damper control. And the reason why you need a local damper control is actually for the certification company. Anytime you put a fan on the roof and there's a fan on the hood, you've got 2 fans in line with each other. They're going to fight. They're going to fight. Now, naturally, you want them to make a perfect handoff somewhere up the duct line, but you don't know where that's going to happen. And that's why it's important for you to have a localized damper so that either the test and balance company, which is an extension of your HVAC company, or another contractor, or your certifier have access to control so that they don't overwhelm this face velocity because the roof exhaust is wide open. Now, while I'm on this slide, I was at a pharmacy last week. They had a monitor that was showing that their powder hood was doing 118 feet per minute at the face open. You're like, what does that really mean? Well, if you're handling micronized powder like a progesterone or any light fluffy powder and you're weighing it in a powder hood, you want that face velocity to be closer to 75 to 80 linear feet per minute. That's a low flow. Because if you're weighing on a spatula and you start to see your powder whisking off, or your 3 places, 4 places to the right of the decimal analytical balance can't get stability, it's because there's too much velocity on this powder hood. Powder hoods are not like biological safety cabinets. A biological safety cabinet will have 105 feet per minute at the face. You only want 75 to 80 feet per minute when you're weighing out powders, especially hazardous drug powder, because I don't want those blowing all over. And plus, I don't know what the gram cost of hormone drugs are these days. But anyway, slow your powder hoods down. And then also this damper control will keep that exhaust blower on the roof from overwhelming the powder hood as well. Now, what is a redundant HEPA filter? This is table 2. I should have actually called it out as table 2. This is the carve out that basically says you can recirculate air back into that space. Let me show you that on the model real fast. Try not to zoom around and make you sick. Let me zoom around. Let's go into this. So here's the difference between a single HEPA hood. See how I've got it connected up to the exhaust blower, but the redundant HEPA hood is not exhausted, so it's recirculating. Now, little misnomer about hoods. Hoods that are recirculating into the space do not contribute to the negative pressure at all, right? They are room neutral. The velocity that it pulls equals the velocity and volume that it puts out. It is room neutral. It does not actually contribute to the negative pressure. What does contribute to the negative pressure is getting the single HEPA filtered hood out of the exhaust blower, out on the roof, or the low wall exhaust going out. That is what's generating the negative pressure in that space. But I don't personally like connecting hoods. Many moons ago, when I was in the engineered containment, which is a fancy name for the hood business, I did not like to see people connect hoods to exhaust systems because they're fickle. Whenever these HEPA filters start to get full with powders, the pressure drops. And this is a constant volume fan, not a variable speed fan. Sorry, I had to take a swallow of water there. They will start to impact what is happening with that negative pressure. And that's a lot to take in, but I would recommend that if you're planning out a new facility, a new project, that you absolutely use redundant HEPA filtered air, let them recirculate into the space, and let the low wall actually do the exhaust.